Hey YouTube, I'm off to see Roger Daltrey tonight, so I'm not sure which other video I'll put out. There is a video I did with Scott where I was talking about this when I picked it up the other week. I think then it turned into a political rant. I might be quite clever and split that up a little bit, so that might be in here.
That one. What's in the bag?
That one. What's in the bag?
What's on the stand?
What's on the stand?
Are we live?
We're live again,
Oh,
yeah.
hello.
I just put that on again.
Right, yeah, this is another Jennifer special.
I was there though, I'd seen it. It was in a charity shop in Kirky. It was in that Rookie Rockstars charity shop.
Yeah.
And I just thought that.
Yeah. And it's...
We don't know what it is.
It's...
Gone from thinking that the neck... Initially I thought the neck was from an old base and the body was made. But
the more you dig into it,
the more that it probably is the original body as well.
I don't know if it's the original body. I think
Oh,
it's
an original body.
It's an original body that's been... They've taken the finish off with an angle grinder by the looks of things, and applied some belly scoops and some contours with the same angle grinder.
Yes.
And it's left quite an interesting finish. If you take it up to the camera, you might see some of the lovely finish that it's got on it. It's like, can you see that? Is it? See if you switch up. Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah. It's got lots of deep gouges and
Look at this. Sand this bit a lot.
yeah, it's over sanded round about the edges and stuff. All the screws. I look at the screws in the back plate. It's hilarious. They're all different sizes.
Yeah, that's four different screws.
Yeah. So the surprising thing about it was I took the neck off it and played about with the neck, and it straightened out really well. And then I flattened out the frets and stuck it back on the basin. How surprising is that though?
Is it full scale?
Yeah.
Definitely. It feels a wee bit like the wee red base.
3/4 kind of scale.
I wonder if it's a 32 inch. It's 33 and a half inch, so it's
In between it.
It's its own scale,
Yeah.
not 34.
Slightly less.
Because why would you? Before things were standardised.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is really. We're trying to make out what the neck is. It looks like it's an old Vox neck maybe.
Something like that.
Like from the
But it's got
60s.
these, see these fret markings on the sides?
Yeah.
They're kind of part of the binding.
They're quite thick as well.
I think that's
Yeah.
how you name.
It's
that's
got
how
really
you find out what it is.
skinny fret wire. And a real deep C shaped neck.
It's a chunky one.
Yeah.
Chunky monkey. It's fine down here. When you get up here, it's
It
like
feels like a vintage kind of Vox bass. Do you know what I mean? That kind of feeling, the vintage Vox, vintage Hofner kind of feel to it.
a 3-piece, 2-piece.
It's a 2-piece laminate, which is kind of strange if you look at it, innit?
Yeah. Who knows what they were doing?
I don't know. I think that's maybe just been the choice of timber, to be honest with you, rather than a conscious
Just what
thing.
they had. What they
Yeah.
had. What kind of wood do we have?
Yeah.
Oh, in fact, Vox were Italian, weren't they? Did they not make
Yeah.
Italian trees or something?
But it's an odd setup because the body looks like mahogany, but it looks to also have like a very, very thin laminate on it, like a super thin laminate, see it? Just on the edges. I don't know if it has or not.
I think it might on the back.
Yeah, but you can definitely see signs of the original varnish kind of kicking about,
Yeah.
and then you can see swirl marks from the
Orbital
grinder,
sander,
the
yeah.
orbital sander.
And the difficult bits to do. These
Look
bits.
at that,
where
yeah.
they just.
Whacked it in there and gouged it all out. So it looks amazing, and it's quite it's weirdly good.
It's fine.
Yeah, I was playing it and I was like, how can that possibly be? I was expecting it to be a complete and utter jobby and just not play right and not be straight.
I didn't even look at it. I saw it on the wall. It was on the wall for weeks. I was like, I assumed, to be honest, it was going to be like 50 quid or something, so I never even looked at it, and it was like fucking nothing on it.
Fiver. Yeah. I think
It's
they
gonna be
wanted
a
a
fiver
tenner.
when
Yeah,
I
I think
think
it was
about
they
it.
wanted a tenner and we talked them down. Like, no, it's fucked. Are you joking?
I do quite like the tuners though.
Yeah, but the thing about it is
Tuners
they all
with
work.
6.
Tuners work.
6 screws hold the tuners on.
Yeah, they work fine as well.
Yeah.
Really nice action on them. They're not tough to turn and they hold tune.
I bet you they're worth money. I bet you they're worth. Well, they'll be worth more than the fiver. Because somebody will be wanting one of them definitely for their
Yeah.
original or whatever. If anyone knows what it is, it's like.
Yeah. It's obviously had a scratch plate on it at one point as well. You can
Yes.
see it's going along the lines of a P bass.
A 2 pickup P. Well, 2 P pickup P base where the two pickups are different sizes?
Maybe I think one of the holes. I don't think so, but they look as if they're both there from the same time. To be honest with you.
I think so, yeah.
So yeah, it's an odd thing, isn't it? So what the plan is to make it a playable bass, and I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be.
It already plays. It just
it plays. It needs
electrics in it.
It needs electricity, electrified.
And what we're thinking about is mechano, like
mechano bits.
Wee bits like that. And it's like so you just have like a bit that goes
suspends
over with a volume control in the middle of it, and then the same for the tone, and then same for the output, and then pickups.
Wire
I've
showing.
not decided what to do yet. I definitely wire showing, but looking.
It's interesting.
I like the idea of using things that are very old and a bit shit. You're talking about cutting up a scratch plate. Or I can obviously make a scratch plate out of that dirt bar, but no, let's have it.
I would think that will look better. It will look more arts and crafts.
More arts and crafts.
And the thing about it is, if it works really well, then
yeah, I was looking at. Definitely do have a pickup on this.
We had two there, didn't we? Had two. You had a choice. That one, a white one, that goes with the white plastics and stuff.
Yeah. The white strap knobs, and there was a telly one as well.
The telly one that's silver, but I think the white one, to be honest with you, wins it. Because, the white one wins it.
I think so. It's kind of odd looking.
It's odd looking, and if you've got white strap knobs, it's going to look great. That'll look nice, do you know what I mean?
Maybe not exactly that pickup, but just when I picked up, get one that's got a big thing. You just mount it straight into the body.
Straight onto the body.
Yeah.
Just as long as it's kind of close to the strings.
Yeah. I'll just pack it out of shit.
Yeah.
Volume and tone. That's what one of your favourite pickups. That's from your favourite type of guitar.
Yeah.
That's a Roswell.
Is it? They're quite good, aren't they?
It's from a Harley Benton.
They're cheap, but they're quite good. Yeah.
Telly neck pickup. To be a wee bit honest, I'm a wee bit wanting to use this instead because telly neck pickups, I don't really have very many of them. I've got about 1 billion of these. Yeah.
That'll do fine.
Definitely not 2 pickups.
I think just one actually. Something tells me just one, and just use that as a route for the wire.
Yes. That cable's actually quite just what I've actually talking about. I'll just twist it together, and that will reach the volume control, or very nearly reach the volume control. It will reach the volume control. Yes.
I think it'll look bra.
Yes. I was surprised you said
really good.
It looks like it could be really crap.
Yeah. But it's unknown. But those tuners, it's a big clue, isn't it? I don't know.
I think the tuners and these marks on the frets, I think we should just look up
Honor tuners.
Oh, Hofner. Is it maybe a Hofner? Do they not have? The thing is, I suppose the thing about that time is they were all copies of sort of each other, so they kind of it more dates it to the 60s.
Well, they were all copies of the kind of P bases, weren't they? Because they weren't allowed to buy them, so
yeah,
they had to make copies.
But they also had to. It's got that sort of Tiesco, Sakai. Thing going on somewhere.
Well, the Czechoslovakian guitars were a lot like that as well. Russian guitars.
That could be one of them.
One of the Eastern Bloc guitars.
Who's East German? Marlin? No, Honor? No.
Well, they were German.
They were Marlin.
Marlin, were they East German?
They were
West German.
They started off as East German.
East German.
GTR. Because I had one.
Yeah.
It was actually a pretty good guitar. It was much better than the later on ones. The ones that say Wales in the back, which were.
Oh no.
To be honest, it was actually kind of a bit like this. It was that funny wood, which is. You want to say mahogany, but I think I got a feeling that they used like what grew in because they were a communist. I think they used larch and beech or whatever it was.
Other stuff, but it's a very stable instrument, and the wood you'll notice it's quite tingy, quite ringy wood. When you chap it, it's got that. I mean that kind of ting that you get from a really high quality chopping board.
Yeah. Had a wee bit of a neck repair at some point as well.
Yeah, well, it's just basically it's fillers. It's not a break.
Right, aye.
So it's had a dent and a bash.
It's had a chunk out of there, but the little sander would have gone, oh fuck.
And it's just used a bit of filler on it, but it's okay. I was surprised I managed to get it smooth as I did, because it's actually.
And we're not thinking that that's anything like the original headstock shaper?
I don't think so. But it's an unusual way that it's laminated at the back. If you look at the back of the neck, it's like. It's where the lamination mark is. It's not even in the middle.
Is it a 3-piece?
I don't think so. I think it's
It's
two.
kind of hard to tell. I think it.
Is it? I think it's only 2 because look how dark that bit of wood is diffused at the top.
Yeah, it does look like it's kind of. It looks like it's got a lighter bit in the middle.
Yeah. It's quite good. It plays fine, and once it's got a pickup in it, I think it's going to be the bomb.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
I think it's going to play really well. I've got my spidey senses are telling me something about this. It's a ringer, is that what they call it? You could turn up at a studio with that and they'd look at you like up and down.
And then suddenly it's like, oh, how'd you get that sound?
How'd you get
That's
that
why
sound?
I'm quite keen. I've got P-bass pickups and jazz bass pickups there, but kind of
I think just
put something a bit different in it.
Different than
Maybe Music Masters. It's got
that's what that's got, isn't it? Yeah, and it's fine.
I even took the cover off the pickup to make sure that it was a 6-pole pickup.
Yeah.
And
If I put a tone pot in it, you can darken it down a bit with a
a tone.
Call it? A tone pot and a resistor. Not a resistor.
Cap.
A cap. The right value of cap on the resistor on the pot will darken that down sufficiently. So a 500 cap on a 250 pot or vice versa. Which one is it?
I'm having a think there about having something really cheesy I could do.
Yeah.
See if I put I don't even know what they're called, like a bit, like a wee piece of breadboard, right?
Mm.
Connected up with 2 different caps in it.
Oh right,
So you could physically, you could just pick the cap out and stick the other one in the hole to try and like as a what's the, or put it in there. You know what I mean? Because if there's a gap there anyway, what's that? That's the tone cap, and it's like you can literally just take it out and swap them over. So you use a different tone cap.
You should actually wire the tone cap into that. Yeah, you can actually put some of the gubbins in there. Yeah, this is going to be a monster bass. I can't wait to see this.
Flux capacitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm totally putting. That's going to be like a frame bit for the fancy tone cap we'll use.
Yeah, put a tone cap in it. Put the wires off for that on, out. It'll be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Unnecessary wires, but ones that work.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, there's no need for it. You could just put it right on the back of the tone pot. But
no,
there's fun in that.
You could have it mounted,
visible,
silly, unique,
fun is the word we're looking for. Fun. It's going to be a fun bass, and it's going to play really well, despite it looking like a bit of a jobby.
It does, yeah. Just do you reckon leave them on?
Aye, God, yeah.
So just in case you're thinking of Pam Mutant, it's got like
I'm going to do is I'm going to put
9-inch nails sticking in it.
Red dots on the bottom of them, so you can see them.
Yeah, but I mean, there's there.
Damn, look at that! I've got a fly in my tea.
You'll drink it anyway.
Yeah, it's extra protein.
Yes, I thought as much. Don't tell everyone. Don't keep your voice down. Everyone else will want one.
I can filter it through my beard. Catch it.
Joy.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, I got it cut. Should have seen the guy when I walked into the shop. He was, fuck. You human? Dog place is next door.
The last time I was in a hairdresser's was 1999. Or it might not be in there. So I'm back. Yeah, so here it is. I've now done what was required. This bass, I've now pretty sure it's a Tiesco. It's not Tiesco or Tiesco. It's just pronounced Tesco, the same as the supermarket apparently. I can't find one exactly the same, but it's got these. Like the binding kind of goes around. It's pretty cool actually. The binding goes around the edges. I'll move that over here so I can. Yeah. So it's got these fret markers, but they're actually part of the binding, which is cool. It's got really cool tuners on it. It's like these tuners remind me of ones. You get ones that look kind of the buttons or whatever you call these bits don't look the same, but the actual housing looks similar to ones you get on old Japanese basses. These are held on with 6 screws though. Total overkill. Like high quality stuff. I remember if I had or still have an Avon SG bass or EBO bass, and it's got those tuners on it, and I remember buying it. The thing was great. Unfortunately, I cut it up and turned it into a 6-string baritone. But when I got it, it was good. Apart from the bridge was shit. And those tuners were good. And my pal was like, "Oh, that's really good. I want to buy one as well." So he sent me a link to one that was on eBay, and it looked exactly the same. I was like, "Yeah, totally, that's it." And this one was absolute shit. It looked the same. It was still an Avon Rose Morris, but like things like, see how this has got 6 screws on it. Well, the ones on my EBO had 4 screws on it, and the ones on his looked like they had 4 screws, but it actually had 2 actual screws and 2 fake screws that were just kind of moulded into the. A wee bit of a by the by there, anyway. So what I've done is I assume you've seen the other video when I talk about what we're talking about doing with it. I've used Meccano here, trying to keep it as simple as it possibly could be. Scott suggested just a volume, and I was like, nah, it's a bass, needs a tone as well. So we've got a single coil strap pickup in it, bit of twisty wire going into a bit of volume control with a bit of mechano on it, a tone control with a bit of mechano on it, going into the output jack, which is, the bit of mechano was a little bit weedy, so that's actually like a bracket thing that Angle Grind did a bit, so it's a bit bigger. It's just that it wasn't quite, the piece of mechano wasn't quite wide enough to take the jack socket, it would have been awfully weak. Yeah, so I've not decided whether I'm going to leave. This is a bit of a, it's a bass, so it's not as annoying. You know, in our guitar you couldn't have these grub screws sitting up like 10mm above the actual body, but it's a bass, so you're never pan muting unless you're doing something I don't know how to do. I think the headstock might have been reshaped to be a bit Telecaster, and the whole thing's been a bit sanded. It does look to be mahogany though. It's got 4 screws that are all different on neck plate, which is quite cool. So I used the 6 screws I used to hold all this stuff on. I went through my parts box and found 6 different screws, so they're all different. A couple of strap knobs. I did look at putting in another pickup, and maybe putting, I was going to put, I'm thinking of in here putting a switch. You know, like Eddie Van Halen's original guitar, he's got the pickup switches in the middle, even though it didn't do anything, it was sort of sitting on its side. I was thinking of doing that and maybe choose the tone pot. There is something about the elegant simplicity of just having one wire. You can, you know, I did have to put a thing in it as well. An earth wire, there wasn't one. So I don't know where this came from. I'd say, what, 60s, 70s, but it's working. Works. This is really bad. Frets were all over the place up here, but now they all work. I should probably note that Scott probably spent quite a lot of time making the neck play because it was just, and I think Jen got it at a charity shop for a tenner or a fiver or something. I mean, going for a bit of the steampunk look. One of my pals was like, oh, it's pure steampunk. You should. The thing about the steampunk idea, you see the guitars, I'm totally up for doing all the stupid bits on it, but I'm not wanting to put things on. It's like, oh, what's that thing? Oh, you've got like a, what does that do? Oh, it's just for decoration. Yeah, but just for decoration. So I want everything on anything I build to do something. Yeah, you know, all the guitars with 10 pickups and all the stupid stuff. It all works. It's a stupid thing to do. It is. I mean, it's like, and it's arguably possibly useless, but no, it still does what it does. The idea of having fake pickups and pipes and stuff on it, no. Maybe if the, you know, like if it had pipes or like, you know, the cogs and stuff, if maybe the cogs somehow, you know, you turned it and there was a big elaborate set of cogs that flipped the switch, that totally, it's completely pointless and useless, but it does something. What's it? join a band playing a disco band where I get to play disco bass. Disco bass is amazing fun. I do manage to play some of it in Sabbath, but don't tell the other guys. Yeah, so Scott did spend a bit of time sanding the neck, so the neck's now smooth. The neck has an amazing profile. Here it's like totally just, it's really, you're not really going to see it, but it's kind of sort of normal down here, but when you get up here, it's like the thickness there is pure huge. It really is an absolute baseball bat up here, but I don't really like it. I would totally, well, in saying that, I would totally gig this. I would have to try it through a big amp at volume in case it was a bit feedbacky, but it sounds great in the house. My reason for going, I had a few different pickup options I took over. You might have seen in the video earlier, in this very video earlier, or the previous video. I've got like P bass pickups and jazz bass pickups and actual bass pickups, but I was going to think of a telly neck pickup, but as soon as I put the white cover on it, it's like, oh, white just gives it kind of, I suppose it sort of goes with the fret markings a little bit, the nut. But I think it looks pretty damn cool for what it is. So I think, to be honest, I might be doing something like this again for myself. This whole idea of it being very open and industrial, although I thought it was a stupid idea when I was up here, yeah, no problem, I'll make a scratch plate out of the, the aluminium tread plate, paint it white. No. This was what was asked for, and although I thought it was, I didn't think it was a stupid idea. I didn't know whether it would look good, but I mean, I think it totally does. It's full scale as well. It feels small. It feels like that wee bass. It's not wee though. It's the same size as a P bass. It's the 34-inch. And I was going to angle grind down these bolts, but to be honest, it's apart from looking at it when I noticed that the grub screws are sitting up high, my hand never goes there. I've actually got a P bass, one of those covers. Was it for a P bass or a jazz bass? The cover, the ashtray cover. I think I've actually got one of them. Or maybe leave that as an option. No, I think that's just you adding on stuff it doesn't need. This bass only has what it needs. There's no fat on it whatsoever. It doesn't need paint. Doesn't need any of that things. It does need it does need a bridge. It does need a pickup. It does need a volume and a tone control and output jack. It does need a neck, frets and tuners and a nut. No waste. So, rock on. Catch you later.